Over here. Is it wrong? Okay, good evening, everybody. I will be calling this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Okay, I'm moving on to item 1B, a roll call. Mrs. Anzo, can you please take roll?
Yes. President Leticia Garcia,
Here.
Vice President Roberto Campo,
Example.
Clerk,
Mhm.
yes, Clerk Beatriz Perez,
Here.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera,
Here.
Trustee Jose Antonio Jimenez,
Here.
Mr. Roberto Campo is absent.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1C, the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Anzo, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, moving on to item 1D. Is there any spotlights?
And no,
None?
none.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on to item 1E, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make a vote.
Mr. Jimenez, can I get a second?
Second.
Ms. Perez? Comments, questions? Ms. Sanzo, can you please take the line vote?
Yes. President Leticia Garcia,
Yes.
Vice President Roberto Campo is absent. Clerk Beatriz Perez,
Yes.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Jose Antonio Jimenez.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0 with Mr. Ocampo absent.
Moving on to item 2, public comments, closed session agenda items only, guidelines. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time, starting time 5:32.
No pueden.
Okay, we have no individuals addressing for closed session, and I'm going to end this at 5:33. We're going to move on to closed session. A, public employees discipline dismissal release complaint. We're going on to closed session. And we're going on to closed session at 5:33. Okay, we are coming back from closed session reconvening at 6:37. And we're item 4B, the action. During closed session on a vote of 5-0, the board voted in favor of upholding the determination in the investigation of not sustained findings following the appeal of an employee complaint investigation position title of teacher. We're moving on to item 5, public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items guidelines. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Item 5A, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items and/or other items may do so at this time. Starting time is 6:38. And I have one. Ms. Blanca Miranda.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, miembros de la comunidad y personal presente. Mi nombre es Blanca Miranda, he sido padre de Alizal por los últimos 10 y 15 años y quisiera hoy dirigirme a ustedes con mucho respeto y dejarles saber que estoy muy orgullosa de mirar muchos miembros de la comunidad o muchos educadores de padres, especialistas de educadores de padres para community schools. Ya miro más caras nuevas y miro ya, uno nuevo. Eso me encanta y me encanta ver a dónde vamos con eso. Algo que quisiera también comentar es quisiera decir que el Buckhorn Learning Center, inicialmente cuando empezamos a trabajar en esa propuesta, era para que fuera un centro de tiempo completo de educación. Y cuando estoy mirando los anuncios, se mira que va a ser un centro de otra vez como 3 horas. Se creó y se escuchó para que los padres pudieran salir al trabajo y supieran que sus niños se quedaran en un lugar seguro. Y quisiera mirar que eso sí fuera así, que realmente que se le dé el servicio de tiempo completo a los niños, a los que sean posible. Estoy preocupada de las auditorías internas que han pasado, mirando el reporte del mes pasado que dice que 100% de los estudiantes están educados en la educación que el padre decidió, cuando en esta mesa hemos escuchado padres diciendo que a sus hijos se les ha negado la educación bilingüe. Me preocupa ese número del 100%. En mis matemáticas básicas ya va el 99 punto algo por ciento. Y mi último punto es decir que por tercera ocasión en este board les hago una petición honesta de que esta reunión empiece a las 6 de la tarde. Habemos muchos padres, ya sé que es muy difícil para ustedes, ahí vemos muchos padres que estamos trabajando desde las 6 de la mañana y tenemos que salir corriendo para poder llegar a la junta y hacer un comentario público. It might be just one, pero recuerden lo que el data dice, que si un padre está pidiendo información así, data y estadísticas dice que al menos hay 53 de él haciendo esto mismo. Gracias, es todo lo que tengo que decir por ahora y pues es todo. Mil gracias.
Hello. So I will be translating for the parent that just went up. So she has been a parent for 15 years, and she wants to just respectfully address the board. And she says that she appreciates all members here present and likes to see new faces. She would like to bring up that the platform center. I'm so sorry. She wanted to point out that the Buckhorn Early Learning Center is not is only open for a few hours when there are parents that are not able to have access to this building during the time that is set up, and would like to see that it is open full time for those parents that cannot make it at the designated times that it is open. She also pointed out that there are students that are denied bilingual education in more than one subject. Um, and it doesn't make up 100% of the students that are able to um, would you want to like
I'm
elaborate?
sorry,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry.
I don't have a script. I never have a script because this is, you guys know me and this is from my heart. So so I'm gonna say that thank you for, and I'm so sorry, this is my notes and this is always me. So community schools, and I wanted to say thank you so much because I've seen many parent education specialists now and adding to the district. And I say thank you for that. I also wanted to add that the Backhorn Early Learning Center was intended to have full-time classes, and that means like 6 to 8 hours classes, so parents can go out to work and leave the children. That was the intent. When we initiated advocating for that, that was the intent, and I see that that has not been the case. That is open only for 3 hours, which is like a regular what we have in any other schools. Should I ignore that because I'm translating or stop?
Because, there was can you just finish?
Sure,
Go
thank
ahead.
you.
Take a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, and that's what I wanted to say on the Backhorn Learning Center. So I also added saying that I'm concerned about the internal audits that happen in the district, saying or that state that 100% of our children are educated in the language that their parents decide, when we have seen parents standing in this same spot stating that their children had been denied bilingual education, and more than several parents. So that's not equal really 100%, but 99 point or less than that. And the third request was to initiate this meeting, the monthly meeting, the school board meetings at 6 p.m. So parents who want to be involved can make it here. I mean, when I'm one of the parents who is always running, and you see me, Maria must be like, "Oh, Miss Miranda arrived," because I have to go and bring a last minute note. I would like to see this meeting to be moved to 6 p.m. And this is the third request that I do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I will end public comment at 6:44. Moving on to item 5A, association comments, the LSL Teachers Association. Is there anybody here from ATA? No comments? Okay, thank you. How about California School Employees Association, the CSEA?
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, also Cabinet members, and Solange Kekinoe, Chapter 577 President. And on behalf of CSEA Chapter 577, I would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to Ms. Anso as a new superintendent. And we also want to welcome the new cabinet members to Alisal Union School District. CSEA Chapter 577 looks forward to build a strong collaborative relationship with the new leadership. Together, we are committed to supporting the success of our students, the staff, and community. And I want to make public that, Ms. Alonso, thank you for trying to always communicate with CSEA, with me, and try to resolve some issues that we have. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody here from the United Substitute Teachers Union? Nope. Thank you. We're moving on to item 6A, presentations, department presentation, Julio Castro, Director of Family and Community Engagement.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Anzo, Cabinet members, and members of the community. My name is Julio Castro, and I serve as the Director of Family and Community Engagement. And today I will present on the Alisal Family Resource Centers and the community schools, both of which are under the FACE department. Today I will highlight the continuous efforts to expand the support for our families and our community. With a growing team, there have been many changes we hope are seen as improvements for our school strategy. I would like to mention that the entire FACE team is composed of classified staff, both management and non-management, and we are very proud of the work we do as classified staff in collaboration with certificated staff across our district. In my most recent board presentation in April, a big part of my team were present. When they learned I would be presenting tonight, they were eager to attend, until some of them realized that tonight is actually professional bull riding at the Salinas Rodeo. So we have a bit of a smaller team, but nonetheless, I would like to acknowledge my team members from the FACE department who are here today. They were wooing me as I was walking in. And I always like to say I'm presenting on behalf of them because this is the work that we always do together. And for the folks that are out there watching us virtually, thank you for the hard work, and I hope you're enjoying your time off. So today we will do an overview. I know in my last presentation I talked a little bit about how our programs looked. Today I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the staffing and what are the different roles and what are the services that we provide, both at the Resource Center and in the community school spaces, and talk about some of the immigration supports that we have been providing given the recent happenings in our country and in our community. Next one, please. So just as a note, we do have 3 family resource centers. We're very happy that we have them. There are some districts in Salinas and even in Monterey County that don't have resource centers or have 1 or 2. So we're very happy that we have 3. And the three locations are situated next to school sites, and they operate similar in the way that they offer supports to the families, but differently in the fact that they meet the needs of each specific community. And as you know, each of our schools are a little bit different. Next. So this is what our Family Resource Center team looks like. I created this visual to help you get an understanding of what our team structure looks like. As you can see, we're quite a strong team. We have had several changes in the past few years. We had a couple years back, we had a model where there was 1 director that was overseeing all 3 resource centers. Then we tried the model where we had 1 manager at each of the Family Resource Center. Now we're trying this hybrid model where we have 1 director and 2 managers that are overseeing the Family Resource Centers. Given the high need, we always have families that need support at any given time or date, and our schools really look to us for support, right, in things that they don't have the capacity to do. We currently have 2 vacancies that we are working on filling. Both of these vacancies came about because our staff members transitioned to additional roles, which we are very happy about because we support our team in advancing their career and their professional aspirations. If you look at the tree, you see that we have a secretary at each of the 3 centers. We have family service specialists. We have educators in the form of paraeducators and adult basic educators, child care providers, and we have clerks who support. The Alisal Family Resource Center does have the most staff out of the 3. It does include a clerk. The clerk is our McKinney-Vento clerk who supports our homeless and foster youth and by providing uniforms, school supplies, hygiene kits, and external referrals. The director does oversee the team. They oversee the strategy, the lead contact to community partnerships and agencies. They support all staff and AFRC and FACE budgets. The manager oversees the staff specifically. They make sure that they are keeping the programming for the center running, operating each individual budgets, community partnerships, and support to their assigned 4 school sites. Our secretaries support with budget, operations, purchases, and they process paperwork to maintain the center running. We have a family service specialist. The family service specialist directly supports families with applications, documents, forms, translations, and external referrals. This is probably the person that gets the most appointments, the most visits in our center because, as you know, and I've mentioned this before, some of the services that we provide, other agencies are charging $50 to $60 per transaction, and our district provides that at no cost. So the family service specialist really supports with this. Our adult basic educator teaches parent-adult literacy in English, and our paraeducator teaches parent and adult literacy in Spanish. And for a childcare provider, we have one at each of the centers, but I will say it is a high need. Whenever we're offering classes, for example, the Salinas Adult School at night, parents come when there's childcare available. So we often have to have additional staffing to support the need. We also have a custodian at each of our sites, although they don't report to our managers or directors directly. They help keep our center safe and clean. They're part of the MOTS team. This is what the community school team looks like. So the community schools implementation grant is used almost entirely to fund the staffing for the community schools team. There are many different community school models. Our district is one of the districts that chose to follow the community schools model as recommended by the 4 proven practices under the guidance from the California Department of Education, which is to hire a community school coordinator to lead the work at each school. We were awarded all 12 sites, something only a few districts in California received. Locally, we are one of 2 districts that was awarded all schools. As part of the grant award, each district has to match the funds with a total of 33% of the award to support the community school work. Part of the match in our district is the parent education specialists, which we have 6 that have been funded by LCAP and have been housed at the Family Resource Center. They are now at 6 of the school sites. And the additional 6 parent education specialists that we are hiring are funded through the community schools grant. There are 2 vacancies that need to be filled, both for Cesar Chavez and Jesse G. Sanchez, and we are working with HR to schedule interviews, screening. We hope to fill them as soon as possible so that we can get that support to our schools. Next slide, please. So the director is overseeing the FACE team, the strategy, the budgets, and the director for community school coordinators acts as a direct report when school site principals are not here. So for example, this summer, our team has been classified in 12 months. We were here all year. So I'm here to support the community school coordinators. And we're also here in the winter. We're also here in the spring. We're also here in the fall. So I get to support the coordinators. Our coordinators oversee our parent education specialists. So they are the persons that they report directly to. Before the coordination of services team, services that were being received from the family resource centers were coordinated by the resource center managers. Now that we have 12 coordinators, each of the coordinators is responsible to ensure that the families that are referred receive those services, right? And that they're followed through and making sure that no referral falls behind. They also are focusing on their community schools goals. I know one of the agenda items today was the implementation plans for all 12 schools. And 3 of the common goals for all of our schools are school climate and family community engagement, literacy, and chronic absenteeism. In addition to supporting those 3 goals, our coordinators are heavily working on grant writing to ensure that we acquire additional funding to meet the programming needs. Our parent education specialists are 100% family and community engagement. They provide direct supports to the parents. They plan and organize activities for students and families, and they support on various school events. Next slide, please. So what does our community school space look like, right? So we actually visited the Salinas Community School, which is part of MCOE, and we were inspired by their model. Not only did they have a community school coordinator at each of their sites that was awarded the grant, but they also had a physical space. We could have gone in any direction with our funding from the implementation grant, but our funds going to support our community is something that we are very proud of, as that is what the needs and assets assessment asks for. Our families should be part of the conversation, and having a physical space for them where they can come, learn, receive basic needs supports will facilitate that. We have to build the capacity of our community, and there's a lot of important work that will continue to be needed even in 4 years after our grant expires. Next slide, please. So immigration supports, right? Something that we're all attentive to our community. In January, the social work team from the PPS department was temporarily placed in each of the resource centers to support families. And they were supporting with the caregiver affidavits and family safety plans. And so our PPS social work team has trained all of our FACE staff. These pictures are actually from a training today. And so our team was walked through the process, and they can now support our families with completing this paperwork. There's a little bit of intimidation, right, with helping with these documents because they have the word legal in it. And so us not being legal experts, we know that we don't have the answers to all, but there are a few documents that it's important for us as a team to become familiar with. Even though they are legal documents, they don't require us to be experts. Our centers do support, but we know that we don't have the answer to everything, and we have to refer to our additional community partners. We have we have an organic relationship with all of our districts, or neighboring districts, so we're constantly communicating with them. Today we had a conversation of, I think we reached the point where we have too many resources, so in case of something happens, we need more clarity, and so that's a conversation that the PPS and FACE department are going to be having. Let's create something easy. If, for example, if there's, with all the immigration rates that are happening, if something happens, who's going to do exactly what? But just clarifying that to make sure that we don't get confused, right? Because we do have a lot of resources, but who do we go to, and who's the right individual to go to? These documents that the caregiver affidavit and family safety plans, we really want to stress this, are important documents to have always, right? Not just right now with immigration supports. And it's important to ask ourselves, if we are parents and we have children, in case of an emergency and we don't return home, who's taking care of our children, right? So this is important to do always, not just around these times, right? Next slide, please. I want to thank you for the time to present, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
You want to start over here, Mr. Jimenez? Do you have any questions? No, Mr. Ocampo?
I think two questions. I'm wondering, I noticed that two of the sites, referring to adult education, two sites teach adult education, which is literacy in English, and one site has a paraeducator that teaches literacy in Spanish. What's the history behind two doing English and one doing Spanish?
Yeah, so I will start with the Spanish. Ms. Oralia Villanueva is our Plaza Comunitaria paraeducator, and they're going on 20 years of supporting and teaching, and Ms. Oralia has been there 17 years, parents on how to read and write in Spanish. So this is actually a program that is sponsored by the Mexican consulate. So any person, whether they're Mexican, non-Mexican, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, that wants to learn how to read or write in Spanish can come, and they can come with zero knowledge. We have families that are used to only signing an X in their signature, who within a couple of months or years have already learned their alphabet, have learned to read, have learned to write. And then those parents, once they've already felt comfortable with Spanish, they then transition on to our other centers to learn how to read and write in English. And we have different classes at different levels so that they can continue. And then for the parents who really are motivated, they can continue for our Salinas Adult School to continue their education, so they really can start from zero and finish with an equivalent to a high school education.
I just want to add to make sure that we understand also that the parents have the opportunity to gain their, what we call in Mexico, primaria and secundaria certificate. So then that way, that would be equivalent to now I can finish high school here.
I guess the other question was, do you, and I don't recall the exact name, I think is it the Monterey College of Law? Is that, I think that's what they're called. Does the resource centers, do they at all work with the Monterey College of Law?
That's a good question. So we've had a long-standing history with Monterey College of Law. Prior to the pandemic, they were actually taking appointments at our centers. And they were, even during the pandemic, they were helping us with parents who needed support and were expediting us and moving us to the top of the list. After the pandemic, they're overwhelmed, so they no longer provide those services. What they're really working with is that they're actually working with the community school folks all across the county to offer a series of legal clinic and workshops to educate our families and our community. Their students do an amazing job. They give us a menu of topics, and if there's any topics that is not on there that we would like for them to present on, they get the topic, go back, do the research, become legal experts in that area, and they come and they present. Some of the workshops that we've had have been the immigration, here in our district, immigration, know your rights. They've done the students with disability. They've done tenants' rights. They haven't done domestic violence, but they can do that. So they have really just, they've given us a carta blanca, carte blanche to whatever we need, they can support. And when we have those workshops, we open them up to anyone in the community. And when other districts host them, they invite us to go to their workshops.
So when other districts have these legal workshops, our parents are notified.
Yes.
'Cause I know Alisa High School had an immigration workshop some time ago, and I heard a number like 500 parents attended or something. It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Ms.
huge.
Superintendent Ms. Anso and I were there with, I know, a lot of other folks, and it was an amazing event. It was just, yeah, I think it was the best of its kind. And I know we were one of the districts that were recognized for really putting out a statement to make sure that our families knew this was a safe place for them to be.
So now I just want to add that we had one in January and then we were in collaboration with the high school. So the high school, it was hosted by the high school, but our district was also in collaboration.
Hopefully we'll have a few of those every year. I mean, given, the current situation, we haven't seen it improved, and if, as long as it doesn't improve, I think we need to keep notifying our parents of their legal rights, so as much as we can, so.
We agree.
you.
And having them in a hybrid modality for the parents that don't feel comfortable coming in person, but coming in virtually, we've seen even up to, there was 20 parents that were there virtually at the last workshop that we had, virtually, and in person we had about 30. So we know that there's a need for the online because of safety.
Okay, well, thank you. It looks like the Monterey College of Law really does a lot of, I guess it's free work, and they seem to have a social conscience, which is great, and yeah.
They do. And
Yeah.
even for the work that does come at a cost, the community schools team at MCOE covered the cost this year for us. So we were very happy about that.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Bettis?
I just have a comment. Awesome job to you and your team. And thank you for having the energy and patience to help our community. And every sense aspect and reaching out. If you guys don't have the answer, you guys reach out, because I hear a lot of good compliments about your team. So nice work.
Thank you.
A round of applause from me to you guys.
Thank you. Ms. Gilpas Barrera?
Yes, thank you. Ditto. I agree with Trustee Perez. I wanted to say, yeah, also thank you. And I did want to comment, if we really want to know what the coordinators do and what the program does, is to read the implementation plans that are going to be up for approval on our consent agenda today.
Yeah.
I browsed through them. I did not read every single word because there's 12 of them and they're long. And I did notice though that home visits will be made for attendance. Attendance was talked about in all three of the goals that'll be implemented. So that's awesome. Now, what I did want to share though is, it's a new job for a coordinator and they call them PES, the parent educator, or what do they call the?
Parent education specialist.
They're classified positions, and they're new positions, both of them in our district. Now, other districts have both of those positions. So I think I think communication is very important with our principals, with you, and I understand you're a great coordinator, so that we don't get off the track of what the position is. Because if you read the implementation plans, I mean, these people are busy. They're very busy, and they probably work after hours, going to meetings. So not that any of us cannot leave our comfort zone with our job and help if there's an emergency. But I've seen that sometimes we will use new positions to help out with no malintent, but it's not the job of the coordinator who gets a pretty good salary, I believe. So we don't want to use them constantly if it's not on an emergency basis to do clerical work or to do work. But again, not saying that we're all going to get out of that and do something. We're going to mop the floor if we have to. We're going to make the phone calls, but not consistently. And I think it's easy for principals to, because they want the work, we need more work, to put it on them, but that's not their job. So I think we have to communicate that, because I think I've heard a little bit that they are being used for that a little bit. So we want to clarify that a little bit, but it's because of lack of not knowing. But once you read those implementation plans, there's no question that these coordinators are very, very busy in doing, big tasks as far as getting resources, offering them to the parents and so forth, especially everything that has to do with student achievement. Now, I just did have one question because I see Mr. Valenzuela here from Steinbach, correct? Yeah, welcome. And I wanted to ask, so with the implementation plans, because they do follow a template, right? Is it a state template or something for community schools? How much of it is they have things in common, or how different are they? How different is Steinbach to Alisal Community or Barden? Or, because I know the template, it didn't say the same thing for every school, so there's a lot of differences. What would you say are the major ones?
Yeah, so the template was provided by the CDE, and we had the option to follow or not follow the template. We decided as a team that we were going to be following the template. And it's just a guide. The template, we can decide doesn't fit our needs, let's change it completely, or we can go outside of it. But yeah, it has those three common themes: the school climate and family and community engagement, the chronic absenteeism, and the literacy supports. And it looks a little bit different. Some of the schools have lower chronic absenteeism rates, so their percentages that they want to increase are a little bit differently. But within 2 months, if we decide, or if one school, or in 3 months, right, when we're back to school, if one school says, hey, all of our students are coming in 100% of the day, we no longer need to focus on that chronic absenteeism goal at this site. We can change it. The state allows it and encourages us to really to stay actualized with what the school needs are. But I will also say that we had an activity or a planning day with other school districts, and those three goals are pretty similar across our county. So it's just, we're seeing that those themes of those three topics all over. I haven't looked at other counties, but I would be curious to see where they are and to see how different they are from ours.
That's great. It's great to know, because there are differences in the school. And my last question is, who is the team that decides what goes in the plan? Do you meet with all the coordinators, or is the principal involved, being that he or she is probably the most knowledgeable as what the school needs are? Who's the team that comes up with the information on the implementation plans?
Great question. So the implementation plan should be a collaboration of everybody. Yes, it's facilitated by the community school coordinator, but it should include the principal and or assistant principal. It should include the parent education specialist. It should include a site team. And so some of our coordinators started in January, February. Some of them started about a month ago. So all of them have the expectation that this year they will be creating a community schools advisory team or council that is inclusive of everybody, so that implementation plan is representative of all the voices and a response to the community needs. I think we are going to be seeing maybe a little bit of different changes in the coming year because there are going to be more voices that are going to be there. But this year looks similar in the sense that we were looking at dashboard data and what was the dashboard telling us that we needed to work on, and it was those points.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Garcia, President Garcia.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing from your department. I especially like the fact that, you did, you're working on those family safety plans because I don't know about anybody else, but I am Hispanic and I feel, even though I'm not illegal I still feel like an uneasiness to this whole thing. And I can't imagine what it feels like for someone that isn't documented in this time. And I'm hoping that they still send their kids to school starting in August. And thank you for all that work that you're doing. And the parent, these coordinators, they are falling under the principal, right? The principal is the one that is overseeing them, because I remember seeing that in another report that was
Yeah.
done.
Yes, they will be conducting their annual evaluation, so they're direct reports.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your help and for your presentation. All righty. So we're moving on to item
Thank you.
7. Board members, superintendent reports. Mrs. Anzo, do you have anything to report?
Yes, first I'd like to welcome our interim assistant superintendent of HR, Human Resources, Dr. Rosa Coronado, and she'll be here supporting us with everything and anything that we tell her to support us with. So thank you and welcome, Dr. Coronado. And the other part is that we are in full swing. Beginning of the year is just around the corner. I will be sending the board dates, important dates, but I do want to mention some that are actually happening tomorrow and Friday. In case you want to see our community school team in action in collaboration with our coordinators or our PES, our parent and specialists, you can stop by the Barden PDC. And IT is a big piece of that collaboration. And we are going full force with supporting our parents with enrollment. So Barden PDC tomorrow from 10 to 7, and then at the district office on Friday from 8 to 5. So you come out, hang out for a little bit, and you see our parents there and all the support that they've been given. So they are an awesome team. They have a whole, if you have not, it was happening here last week. If you haven't seen the operation in progress, it's something we're seeing, and then you get those plans that you have right now come to life in that room. And again, I will be sending an update with all the important dates. Thank you.
How about on this side, Mrs. Gilpas Barrera? Anything to report?
Thank you. Yes, the only thing I wanted to do was welcome Dr. Fernandez to our team, Superintendent, Dr. Coronado, all these doctors here, pretty good. But I did want to say something about Dr. Coronado, and she probably won't remember, but she'll remember we worked together in the high school district. And sometimes we think of human resources, but all the complaints go there. All the complaints, and human resources, the place where if you're going to get a letter of discipline or whatever, that's where you end up. Well, I was present when, an employee, I was their union rep, got in a little bit of trouble. But Dr. Coronado allowed her to leave with her dignity. And it was a very embarrassing situation. But she did not use her position to talk down to that person. I was very impressed. And she allowed that person to leave, yes, with the letter of discipline, long time ago, been years. That's probably why she may not remember, but I was very impressed with that. And I know she has that human in the human resources. I think she's the right person. Thank you for picking her, or I think you invited her to help us out here in this district, because we will have that with Dr. Coronado. I'm very confident. And also you have that, I'm talking to the Alisal community, in your board, in our school board. We may not agree on everything, but we deliberate, we talk, and we respect our employees, and we want the best for our employees. That's why we believe that we're offering you the best with Mrs. Anzo, Dr. Fernandez, and Dr. Coronado, and a board that is very employee friendly. So let's continue working together. A lot of exciting things are happening in the future. And it's good to see, instead of frowns, smiles in the audience. So thank you for that, and thank you for being with us.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Pettis, anything to report? Okay, how about Mr. Ocampo?
I'm going to keep it short, okay? I promise you, this will be short. I just wanted to do an update on the CalKids program. As you know, I'm really hot on CalKids. So back on July the 16th, 2024, we were at 9% in terms of our students who enrolled in CalKids. That's about 700 plus students. Now, as of July 29th, 2025, we are at 21% enrollment, and that's about 1,895 students. So it looks like we're really doing a good job, at least in my opinion, of enrolling kids in the CalKids, and it's growing really well. So the reason why, to me, and why I think it should be important to all of us, is because research has shown that students with college savings accounts are more likely to go on to college or to vocational education. So as we enroll our young people in the CalKids, I think that we're giving them a better shot of, or the greater probability of them going on to college or to a vocational program, which is ultimately, I think, one of the main goals that we're about here at our district. So in my opinion, the next logical step would be to help our parents set up a ScholarShare 529 college savings account. And I have two suggestions for doing this, two recommendations. One is that as we enroll parents in CalKids, we should recommend to them that they open up a 529 college savings account. Now, the reason for this is that you cannot add money to the CalKids savings account. In CalKids, you basically accumulate interest, and that's how you make money. That our students really do need a 529 college account so they can actually start putting money in the accounts, which are not taxable. So it's a great deal because our parents don't get taxed they don't have to pay taxes on the money they put in the accounts. And even when they take the money out and they use it to pay for a college, they still do not have to pay any taxes on the money. So it's a great deal. I believe the second recommendation is that hopefully, it's a recommendation that sometime in the future, we should reach out to a local bank or credit union to assist us in enrolling our parents in a 529 account. So in closing, I think we are making good progress, but in my opinion, there's still work to be done. And hopefully the district it's my hope that the district will move in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Anything to report? Thank you. So I was able to visit Montebello School before the summer program was over. I was able to visit classrooms and do their rotations. Walked in with, they're doing water science this year. I think this is the first year they do it because before it used to be more NASA inspired, but it was nice to see that. I went at 4 o'clock. So it was nice to see that even at 4 o'clock, the program I think was over at 5, there you still see plenty of students in the classrooms and they were still so happy. And I do appreciate the rotations because kids don't get bored and teachers don't get bored either, even though you're teaching one subject over and over and over and over and over again. But I think by the time the day's over, you're the expert, right? Anyway, I did appreciate going to, I was only able to see Montebello this time in the summer because I too am working and I'm still working summer school because I am a teacher. But yeah, that's all I have to report. Well, actually, I'm going to say one more thing. And I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it to all of you guys because it ties in a little bit, right? And I said earlier when we were having that report with Mr. Castro about, the Hispanic families and how, it doesn't, it feels terrible right now. At least I do. I'm not going to speak for anybody up here, but I feel like very targeted, even though I am not an immigrant. I was born and raised in the United States. My parents came here legally. They got in line, but the line was a lot shorter when they came. So I understand all of that. I've been, I've traveled the world and I always have my passport with me. And so in this climate, I've been carrying my passport now. And guess what I did? I lost my pass. Yes, exactly, right? You know, passports, you know, it looks like a book, and I've traveled the world, and I've always taken my passport with me. And unfortunately, I've been during the 4th of July celebration, I lost it somewhere. I had to report it stolen. I have to go through all these hoops. But I mean, it's this time, right? It doesn't feel good. And I feel like if I'm feeling that way, I think that our immigrant families are feeling even worse. That's all I have to say. Anyway, I'm going on to item 8, consent agenda. Approval, ratify contracts, MOUs, agreements, grants, proposals, conferences, workshops, and field trips. Can I get approval of consent agenda? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Mrs. Gilbas Barrera, can I get a second? Mr.
Second.
Jimenez, comments or questions? Ms. Santo, can you please take the line vote? Oh, there is a comment. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know a lot of information here. On item 8C, it meant under the warrants, it talks about the $1,900 that we owed some classified staff, and that money that we owed them was 10 years. And I know some of them recently got their money, but not all of them. I'd like to know where we stand on that. And also, I don't know if it's part of negotiations, what we're gonna pay them above that, because we owe them money. So I guess my first question would be, where do we stand on that? One person was told the board hadn't approved it, but the board did approve it.
Yes, the board approved the original amount without interest on that. So we have done the recalculation, and we are in the process of, we have already paid all the active employees, and now we are in the process of paying the inactive employees who are not actively employed at this time. And we are hoping that we can make a payment by the end of this week. We can
So
put the
how do we explain, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Mr. Abbasi, but how do we explain a situation where it's a married couple and both of them were on the list, and yet he got his payment, but the wife didn't? So how could the board have approved him and not her? Is there a discrepancy there, or what's
So
going
we
on?
have two different lists. One was active employees, and we were not going by the married couples or single status.
Good.
We were looking at two different lists. One
Mhm.
was active employees, currently employed with our district, and the other list is inactive employees.
Mhm.
And actually, we had a third list that is those employees who have passed. So we were
Right.
trying to figure out how to make that payment. The active employees have been paid, so we are current with that. Inactive, we're processing right now as we speak.
Mhm.
Payments are going to be in the mail by the end of this week.
Mhm.
And then we are still trying to figure out how to make payments for those employees who have passed.
But wouldn't it go to their
complication is-
families or no?
There's a complication that should we pay to their sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, who is eligible to receive that payment? Because
I-
they did not designate any person to receive the payment if they pass.
Yeah, and in terms of, we're talking about human, having that human feeling towards people, some of those people really need the money, so when can they needed it 10 years ago, but we didn't pay them, right? So when do you think we'll be finished in paying them off? The original 1,900, I guess the rest will be negotiated, but when do you think that might happen? Because I'm hoping it's just going to be more for the district if it goes another 10 years, but I know it won't. But it makes us look like maybe we don't want to pay. So when are we going to be able to pay our bill? This is money we owe people. How much effort is being put forth?
I can
Yeah,
share now.
please.
So a lot now is, just like Mr. Bossi said, we were getting the emails, we spoke and said, okay, no, we need to pay all the people that were approved. So we went back to the board item that was brought before the board, I think it was January 8th. We looked at the list, both inactive and active employees were approved to receive the check. So now we just need a direction. And so the direction has been given. The checks are in process of being printed in the mail on Friday for the inactive. Where we have to make sure is how are we going to pay the employees that have passed? And then bring back that board item to be amended so that we can include the interest that was, at that board meeting was part of the discussion that we needed to pay. So we are hoping by next week, for sure, all the inactive are also receive a check. And we will be checking with employees to see if they received it. And maybe by the end of August at the latest.
It's unfair for me to ask for a date, but I'm glad you're working
But no,
on it.
we know.
Thank you.
We know and we've heard that. I think all of us
Thank
agree in
you.
cabinet that it's
Thank-
something that they need to get.
Thank you very, very much. That's a great answer. And also, again, I mean, I don't micromanage the warrants, but again, what the district is spending on food for meetings is a lot. 2 meetings, one was $1,200, the other one was $1,500. That's almost $3,000 for 2 meetings. That's a lot of money. I want to ask, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't, the staff doesn't deserve a good lunch. I'm just hoping, you know, then you look where parents get just donuts, but I don't know. I think we need to look at that. And I also have a question. Does our own kitchen have the capacity to provide lunch, or maybe to sell lunch to employees? I'm not sure. It's just that right now we might not have an issue with that, but as money gets tighter with all these programs getting tighter, I mean, we're going to have to do that somehow, you know? So again, I think, I mean, I thought about asking in 1 month, how much do we spend on catering, you know, but I know it's in the thousands and thousands, you know, and it's not millions, but it could turn into that, start getting, you know, it's just something I think that we need to look at and just keep an eye on, not micromanage, but, I don't know of any other job where they feed you if you go to a meeting. I don't know if anybody else does that, but this district is feeding, and that's great, but it's a lot of money. I just had to say that, sorry. And then,
Can I just add something?
sure,
Maybe what will help is if we bring a presentation on what we do for professional development. Because if it's an all-day professional development for our staff, and they, let's talk about our teachers, because some of our teachers are there all day when we have meetings. How many people are participating in the meeting? Are we staying within the lines of the board policy for the breakfast and for the lunch, right? Because that's what we provide. Our teachers have a 50-minute duty-free lunch. So we want to make sure that when we break for lunch, that they have something too, because if not, they go and get something and then they come back, we don't start on time. So maybe that will give you an idea of like why we're spending that money and why, what's a meeting, what's a professional development, and even with the justification when we talk to our directors who are putting in the catering request, is what's your justification? So when it appears on the warrant, it just doesn't say meeting, but it's a professional, 8-hour professional development, 6-hour professional development. So maybe something in the near future, if the board wants, is a presentation or a workshop on what are we doing with our professional developments within, what can our food services provide, and the catering requests that we do through food services, and then our vendors.
I think that's a great idea, and there's no urgency on that one, but
Okay.
it's keep it in the back burner there. And then my last thought here is, again, in referring to the items of the, oh no, I already covered that one. Oh, to commend the coordinators who got donations for Frank Paul, and there was another school, I can't remember, for like $1,000. So they got the coordinate, which that's their cup of tea. That's what they do. So it was good to see that they got it from the Heritage something and another one. So that was for Frank Paul, and I can't remember the other. Oh, I think both of them were from Frank Paul, actually. So that's congratulations on that, and that's great. So thank you so much, and that's it.
Thank you. And I think just going along with those, with the food, my bigger question would be, like, what budgets are you using to pay the food? Is it unrestricted? Is it restricted? Because that just kind of falls in line. I can see both ways though, because when you do offer food, they don't leave, they actually stay. But anyway, okay, any more questions or comments? Okay, Mrs. Anzo, can you please take the line vote?
Yes, okay. President Leticia Garcia,
Yes.
Vice President Roberto Campo,
Yes.
Clerk Beatriz Perez.
Yes.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jose Antonio Jimenez. Motion passes 5-0.
Item 9, Human Resources. 9A, action item, revised job description from Coordinator of Human Resources to Program Manager of Human Resources. May I get a motion?
Motion.
Okay, Mrs. Perez, and seconded by Ms. Guibas Barrera. Comments or questions? Ms. Ansel, can you please take the line vote?
Yes. President Leticia Garcia.
Yes.
Vice President Roberto Campo.
Yes.
Clerk Beatriz Perez.
Yes.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera. Trustee Jose Antonio Jimenez.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10, Administrative Services, action item A, resolution number 2526-01, increase by 5% in compensation of board members in accordance with Education Code 35120 and Board Bylaw 9250, effective 7/17/2025. May I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Jimenez? Can I get a second? Ms. Guilvas Barrera, comments or questions? Mrs. Guilvas Barrera, sorry, Mrs. Ansel, can you please take the line vote?
Yes. President Leticia Garcia.
Yes.
Vice President Roberto Campo.
Yes.
Clerk Beatriz Perez.
Yes.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera. Trustee Jose Antonio Jimenez.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10B, first read information, revised board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibit series 5000, student included. Item 10C, information, Williams Uniform Complaint Quarterly Report, July 2025. That includes April through June 2025. Item 11, future agenda items. A, department presentation, Early Learning Universal Pre-Kindergarten UPK, Director Elia Garcia, August 6, 2025. 11B, school site presentation, LSL Community Schools Principal Maria Lepe, August 27, 2025. 11C, presentation, State of Federal Funding, August 27, 2025. Is there any other future agenda items board members would like to include? No? Thank you. Item 12, future meeting dates. You see that it's August 6th, August 27th, and September 17th. Item 13, public comments. 13A, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. Starting time is 7:34.
We don't have any.
Since we don't have any, we will be ending the time at 7:35. We will be adjourning to closed session, and we will be taking a 10-minute break during closed session. But during this time, we would like to invite you to share in our celebration of welcoming Mrs. Anzo in her first official board meeting as our new superintendent. Can we get a round of applause? So you're welcome to come and get a little slice of cake, and I will be adjourning to closed session at 7:36. So we should be in there at 7:46. Thank you.
Su primera
Just a
junta, ¿verdad? Muy bien.
Bean. We are going to reconvene now at 8:30 PM. During closed session, I have one item to report, item 15B. On a vote of 5-0, the board approved a settlement agreement with a former vendor, which terminates one case of existing litigation. Now going on to item 16, adjournment. Meeting will be adjourned at 8:31 PM. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening.